There's like 100 cars out here.
This massive Brampton party with about 200 people in attendance on Saturday night
I don't understand how this is even happening.
prompted outrage from provincial officials, with the health minister saying it's completely irresponsible behavior at this stage of the pandemic, and the premier threatening to issue a $100,000 fine under the province's emergency orders enacted because of COVID-19. It has become frustrating for residents as well to see people not respecting social distancing rules. And it's not just in Brampton. It was 2 weeks ago today here in Thornhill, in what is normally a very quiet neighborhood. Suddenly, about 7 p.m., this park flooded with kids. It's not that they were being excessively noisy or rowdy or drinking, but one family was concerned that there were just so many of them. They say they weren't following the rules and that police did little about it. And I guess it was pretty clear that the kids weren't social distancing while they were in here.
They were not, no.
Oh, no,
They were definitely not.
One on top of each other.
The first thing I thought, like, where do I complain about this? Because this is more than 10 people.
Alex and Julie Bam said there were at least 100 kids in the park. It turns out that there were several groups which had been dispersed from other area parks and all wound up at Mosswood. The police did arrive in short order, but the Bams were surprised that officers made no effort to actually remove the teenagers from the park.
I asked them, what are you going to do about these kids here? Aren't they violating some emergency new laws about COVID, right? And the police said, we're not going to disperse them, and we're not going to give them tickets either.
York Regional Police tells me they've received 3,000 calls for social distancing violations since the state of emergency began back in March. Currently, the rules in Phase 2 allow for gatherings of no more than 10 people. But in spite of the large number of complaints, York Police have only laid 70 charges. And those include any other emergency order infractions, not just social distancing or parties with too many people. Police say they have to assess what is reasonable in each situation.
Our primary concern is going to be educating the public. We're going to obviously take every call we get like this very seriously. We will have officers respond. And then from there, you know, whether the officer decides to lay a charge under the Act or not is going to be based on their discretion and based on the evidence that they have.
Peel Regional Police also report a relatively low number of charges under the Emergency Civil Protection Act, with 89 between March 26th and May 23rd. For the BAMs, they continue to be concerned about the risk of spread of this disease if we don't tread very carefully. Your biggest concern was the potential for infection.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of people here, and like we come out here with the kids sometimes, like, I don't want, you know, my kids to get it or myself to get it. Like, it was just like too many people.
I was just surprised to see that with all the new laws, rules, emergency rules coming out, that there was no concern about such a huge congregation.
As of July 24th, York Region has moved into Phase 3 of recovery, which means outdoor gatherings of up to 100 people are now allowed, but social distancing of 2 meters is still required. It's not clear how many pandemic-related charges Toronto police have laid, but the city remains in Phase 2 for now, as does Peel Region. I'm Pam Seatle, City News.